Good evening, ladies as well as gentlemen. Papa Boris here with some more Hearthstone Arena action. Rogue and Shaman are actually two very similar classes for me. I've played them both exactly the same number of times. I have the exact same success rate with them both. But Shaman has a pretty big difference in that it has a higher average for me. I average like 7 wins with Shaman and only 6.2 with Rogue because I have a history way back in the day of getting lots of 9-win runs with Shaman. So let's do Rogue here. See if we can raise that average up or bring it back down. Now, Blade Flurry is an interesting card because it's not that good on its own, but it is good if you can combo it with, say, Deadly Poison or Assassin's Blade. And it is one of the Rogue's few ways of doing mass removal. I'm going to take Sunwalker, though. It's just much more consistent and is a really great card. Southsea Deckhand. I'm actually going to take this over the Silverhand Knight here because it's basically like a 1 mana 2 damage sort of deal. Or you could just have it as a minion and attack with it. Okay, do I take the Charger for more removal or the Loot Hoarder for some cards? I could also grab Leper Gnome, I guess, and try to go aggro alongside this Pirate. Well, but either of these cards, any of these cards could go for aggro, so I might as well take the less committal ones in one of these two. Let's grab Loot Hoarder here. Tough call, though. Let's just take the only playable card here, the Panther. And Eviscerate's obviously great. Ooh, Assassin's Blade or Eviscerate. Let's take the Eviscerate, I think it's a bit more consistent. Oh man, this is tough. So Assassinate. Golem is a really good 3-mana drop, but I want to make sure I have at least one Assassinate. It's nice to have some one-click removal. Okay, I've got, boy, Loot Hoarder and a Southsea Deckhand, so I could take the Ooze reasonably. This 2 bump isn't realistic, because really 2 of them are Eviscerates. I actually am going to take the Ooze over the Worgen. I'm just not a big fan of that Worgen. Okay, liking this Vertical Mercenary less and less with time, so we'll take the 4-drop here, which is good. And we get an Epic. As I always say, I'm not a fan of the Molten Giant. Now, Rogues can damage themselves, so the Molten Giant might be better, but I'd rather just get the Faceless so it's more consistent. That's a common theme, by the way, in my draft picks, picking the most consistent cards. Just like here, I'll take the Razorfin Hunter. Ah, Backstab. My favorite card in the game. And I'll take another one, yes, definitely. Now, Cold Blood, I keep meaning to play with that card, but it's not looking like the right deck for it. So either I take this decent 5-drop or a Worgen. Well, one of my 5-drops is Assassinate, and one of them is Faceless Manipulator, which is conditional. I don't actually have any, like, real 5-drops, so I want to make sure I've got some of those. We'll take that here. And is it desperate enough yet that I will take a War Golem to make sure that I have an endgame? I think so. There's no guarantee I'm going to see anything big later. Oh, man! I would so much rather have taken Ravenholt Assassin than War Golem. But since I took the War Golem, I definitely don't want this Ravenholt Assassin. We'll take the Violet Teacher, which is a really great card. Do I take Cold Blood here? I mean, I don't particularly have any synergy with it. I guess Violet Teacher, yeah, kind of. If you have a student hanging around, Dragonling, a Piglet, I could stick it on the Panther Spring. Okay, I guess I got some synergy with Cold Blood. I don't know. Sure, we'll try it out. I've always wanted to play with it, but I never have. Oh man, 3 backstabs? No, you gotta take a Yeti here, I think. Tempting as that was. Well, now that I've got junk, let's take the Assassin's Blade. Do I take Sunwalker here? Yeah. Headcrack's garbage, and Crazed Alchemist is fine, but no Sunwalker. Okay, now that I've taken some expensive things really aggressively, I don't feel like I can take this Frost Elemental. So we'll take the Raptor for core reasons, but that was... or for curve reasons, but that was unfortunate. Cult Master? Alright, over this mediocre junk. Sure. I'm missing 3 drops, and I get one here. Do I want the Taunter or the Healer? Oh, that's tough. Well, I've got, like, no taunt in this deck, currently. 0. Well, except for the Sunwalkers. I think healing is more important, though. That's a tough call, though. Really, really tough call. Conceal can be okay sometimes. This stuff, is anything here to panda? I could panda a few things. Yeah, let's take this over the sort of conditional spell. Alright! Well, I guess I will take a backstab. I'm forced to take a 3rd backstab. That's pretty great. Do I take another 5-drop here? This is tricky. This curve is just not coming out correct at all. No. I'm just going to take this Bluegill Warrior for some more removal. Do I take this thing? That's starting to be too many 2-drops. I feel like I have too many 2-drops and too many 5-drops. This is awkward. I've got enough endgame. I don't know. We'll take this Berserker. I'm not 100% sure I'm doing this right. Well, since I've been aggressively passing on expensive stuff, I can take a Fen Creeper here. And we'll take a Wolf Rider there. And we'll end on the only playable card. Okay, I know that Master Swordsmith is playable, and it has actually been good against me sometimes, but it's only when I'm playing with 1 toughness creatures. and I think a creature that's only good against 2/1s is a little bit limited in its application. So I don't know, this deck seems kind of mediocre. It didn't really feel like it came together for me. Nothing super great in here. Not a great curve. I don't see it going places. It's alright though. Good practice. If you have any suggestions for what I could have drafted differently, let me know. There definitely were some interesting choices in that draft. Alright, starting off against a warrior. Yeah, boy, it's not a good matchup, I don't think, for Rogue, because the warrior can heal up against your dagger faster than you can deal damage to him. And on top of that, the warrior's weapons are better than yours. I mean, yes, they cost cards, but the warrior's weapons are better, and he can also heal up after dealing damage to stuff. So I feel like warrior is good against Rogue, in general. Okay, let's see what he does on turn 1. That will affect my decision making. So I could play Loot Hoarder with the coin. That would hedge my bets against Fiery War Axe. Or I can play the Imani Berserker, which is better if he doesn't have a Fiery War Axe. Well, let's play it safe. I think if I were a different class, I might not do that, but as a rogue, I wouldn't necessarily mind if he played a 3 toughness creature, putting a dagger in play, and then running the Loot Hoarder in, and then finishing off the 3 toughness creature with the dagger. Then I'd have 1 charge of the dagger left over, which could come in handy later on. My opponent, it turns out, has a slow start, so I guess it really didn't make any difference which one I did. If he armored up, it doesn't matter, because both of these minions hit for 2 damage. And then whichever one I didn't play, I can now play the other one. So I'm actually quite safe against Cleave and Whirlwind, because Whirlwind will enrage this and draw a card from the Loot Hoarder. Cleave will draw a card and enrage it. They both pretty much have the same effect of drawing me a card and enraging my guy, so he can't use much of his removal here. This is a pretty good answer. Luckily / unluckily for me, I have nothing better to do this turn than dagger up. Now, do I use the Southsea Deckhand or the Loot Hoarder? Might as well use the Deckhand. I've got the mana for it. Keep the Loot Hoarder around, and then we got the dagger for the Cobra. And swing for 4 damage. Alright, good start. I mean, this is all very preliminary. I would not say that I've won the opening yet. I just have a little bit of an advantage, but this is by no means explosive. Battle Teacher will be a good drop, though. Warriors aren't the best at killing it. He needs kind of an Arcanite Reaper to kill it effectively. And then that leaves these minions alive. Well, actually, I think I am doing pretty good here, especially if he armors up. Oh my gosh. If he armors up here, that would be very unfortunate for him.
Give me a quest.
But something like Ascension, and he'd be fine. Alright, he's going to build up the Questing Adventure. Fair move here. So it does get me a card ahead, but the Questing Adventure will kill the Berserker. Unluckily for my opponent, Backstab's a pretty good card. So first play the Violet Teacher. Backstab to get 1/1.
I am ready to
Finish off the Questing Adventure with your dagger. Notice how that cost me 0 mana, killing a 3/3. What I love about rogues, I've heard some people say, you know, that rogues are the worst in the arena, or that they're not a good class in general, and yeah, that may be true objectively, but it's just so awesome that you can, like, kill stuff without having to pay mana for it. It's really cool. I've always liked this class for that reason. Okay, I correct that. Actually, I have not always liked rogues. I started liking them after they were nerfed. I really hated them. If anyone was, this is like going way back, folks. Like, we're talking way, way back. But there was a time when rogues were actually grossly overpowered, believe it or not. It was like long enough ago now that some of my viewers might not know this, but it used to be that the rogue hero ability, it would equip a dagger if you didn't have a weapon equipped, and if you did have a weapon equipped, it would give +1 to your weapon for that turn. So you could, like, equip it on 1 turn and then use it again the following turn, make it, you know, a 2/2. Rogue was the only class that could deal 2 damage in 1 blow without having to use a spell. It was just ridiculous. Anyway, Assassinate's a pretty good card. Glad I drafted it. Sunwalker is really one of the best targets in the universe for your Assassinate. And okay, now I would say that we're really far ahead. I have as many minions as my opponent has cards. I've got more in my back pocket. I can deal a little bit of extra damage by Bluegill Warrior, Panda, and then Bluegill Warrior again. Actually, it's not till 8 mana, so I can't do that just yet. But anyway, I've got lots of damage coming in. This is looking pretty good so far. You could do like a Brawl or something to catch back up, but that's an epic, and alright. Oh god, MVP charge. Oh, he's a 5/3 charger, still can't kill the Fen Creeper. What is he doing? What is he doing? He's doing nothing. Okay, well, nice. Is that worth killing? Let's see, 3, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12. Oh my gosh. Do I really only have 13 damage here? 6, 7, 8, 10, 12. I could Panda this and then I'm a mana short of replaying it to charge again. Oh, jeez. Well, we'll do my favorite thing in the world then, which is hedge my bets. Let's kill the questing adventure.
I shall do as you say.
Swing, swing, swing. Now let's just play Sunwalker here. Seems like a pretty good move. He could now brawl, but I bet he would have used it if he had it. Brawl would catch him back up though. Kills a student and pops the divine shield. Looks like he does not have any brawls here. Chooses death. Good choice, Geo the warrior. Good choice. Well, I don't think that warrior really put us to the test. He pretty much did nothing all game, and I had, you know, two drops in a row. I had a fast start, so really any deck that did that would have beaten him. He just didn't. He didn't have any removal. He had the cleave there at the end, but and I guess he had the inner rage for my loot hoarder. But he was in trouble. He just had no answers there. A brawl though would have made that game interesting. I think I still would have won actually, but it would have been closer. Alright, well, let's see who our next opponent is. Note that I am actually above 6,000 gold here. Not because I've done well in the arena, although I have. My streak kind of ended in the last run, but I do encourage you to watch the last two Paladin runs. Especially the one called Record Keeping. I know I've said this for several videos now, so I apologize if you've already watched it and are sick of hearing me say it, but man, everybody needs to watch Record Keeping. Paladin Hearthstone arena number, whatever, 17 or 18, whichever that was. Very good run. Landmark run for my channel, you could even say. But anyway, this 6,000 gold is just because I completed 2 daily quests today for 100 gold, and that kind of brought me up. So if I do make it to 7 wins, did the game crash? Oh, I think the game's crashed. Yeah, well, anyway, usually what it'll do is it'll just... I don't want to split this up into 2 videos. Usually what it'll do is it'll just crash after a while, say that it couldn't connect, and then we can try again. And it usually connects on the second go-around, so I'll just chat for a little bit here. So yeah, I got 100 gold from completing 2 daily quests, which means if I make it to 7 wins this time, I will actually stay above 6,000. Seems like just yesterday, I was excited to be breaking 5,000. Now we're already at 6. But that's partly because I haven't played that much arena. Oh, hey, I was disconnected from the Hearthstone service. What a bitch. Well, okay, I guess we are going to make it a one game video, huh? So anyway, thanks for watching. Please like and or subscribe if you enjoyed that. We'll be back with some more chatter and some more games in just a moment. See you soon.